I'm at Park Bikes, and the reason is simple. We've got a bike to build, and it's not an ordinary bike, it's the new Trek Emonda. I was at the last launch of an Emonda, which was the first with disc brakes. That was in 2017, and they flew us all the way to Wisconsin. But this being 2020 and COVID-19 being the dominant theme of the year, there's no travel. It's a bike that we're familiar with, but it's been redesigned for the relaunch in 2020. Let's have a look.
I just feel like it's a good thing that bikes are all coming back together a little bit. Maybe 2-3 years ago, there was a whole lot of directions. There was an aero bike, which was so much different to a climbing bike, and then there was endurance or gravel. And I feel like this is a step towards bringing them all back to one bike. It's aero, it's light, it's stiff enough to race on and sprint on. It's kind of a bit of a go-to, do it all. So yeah, it looks really good. These are all new paint schemes. It's an integrated system, but it's quite smart. It's not all going inside the stem and into the fork steerer tube, but the cables are running independently. They're running in front of the fork steerer tube, and it would look like it appears as though it's tunneled on the left and the right of the fork steerer. It's like the Madone. It's a little bit smaller, skinnier and leaner, and it looks as though these spaces lock together in a slightly different way, which I'll show you shortly. This is the first Emonda SLR that we've built, so this is all kind of new. But it looks pretty straightforward, it looks pretty easy to set up, and being ETAP axis, there's not too much to do with gears or brakes. So we were talking before about this new bottom bracket, Rob. It's a threaded system, so it's called T47. You know, over the last few years, we've all had what we call standards fatigue in relation to bottom brackets. Trek have traditionally used like a BB90 or BB95 system, which is one of the sort of smaller ones, suits the Shimano 24mm, SRAM 24, 22mm axles really well. Bearings are kind of small. A lot of other companies use the bigger BB30 system, but still with press fit bearings. So the benefit of the bigger cup in the frame, the bigger shell, means a stiffer ride and a little bit better performance and ride quality. But a big bearing, press fit into a frame kind of makes them creak a lot. We all agree that the bigger shells work better, but we also agree, especially the mechanics out there, will agree that the threaded system is quieter and it works better. now so I can show you. This is a range of spacers that come with the bike in 10, 5 and 2.5 mil heights, and they kind of lock together like that around the steerer tube. There's enough room for the cables there, and the fork steerer just behind that. It's similar to the Madone, yeah. Brakes are all set up properly. There's oil in the system, it's bled. This is kind of pretty easy, yeah. And it's E-tap as well. So we don't have to thread cables anywhere. So we've got the cables where they need to go. This is the last spacer that we're going to put on top. So this is the final one on top. You can see how they lock together. This is one of the leaner 5mm ones. Kind of angled so they can only go one way. Top cap down when we're ready. So you can see a tiny little bit of cable there. It's a small sacrifice for being able to work on the bike a whole lot easier than if it was all inside the handlebars. Looks like a 33 there. 1033. It's on 12 speed now. We're just going to tune the gears, check the torque on all the bolts, put your water bottle cages on, and then we're done. The rear ones are really good as well. This is kind of cool as well. It's just a little removable quick release lever. So it's magnetic. It's just a 5mm Allen key. So normally with this sort of bike, you wouldn't just buy it off the shelf. We'd do a bike fit first, we'd arrive with a whole series of numbers before even ordering the bike. So it went together pretty well. I'm really happy with it. I think you're going to like it. It was a smooth build. It was relatively quick. The cable tunneling is really smart. It's sub 7 kilos, so I think we're all pretty stoked about that.